In the vast digital landscape, the FBI unraveled a staggering $1.6 billion Instagram scam that left the online world in shock. As social media influencers flaunted lavish lifestyles, a sinister operation was underway, targeting the unsuspecting. Behind the facade, a network of cybercriminals meticulously crafted a scheme that would deceive even the most vigilant users. In this gripping exposé, we delve into the high-stakes investigation, decoding the digital breadcrumbs that led the FBI to unmask the masterminds behind this mind-boggling Instagram scam. This is the untold story of how the FBI solved the $1.6 billion Instagram scam, the Yahoo Boys. Back in 1994, when Jerry Yang and David Philo, both brilliant electrical engineering graduate students at Stanford University, embarked on the creation of what would become Yahoo, the virtual landscape was in its infancy. Their brainchild, initially dubbed Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web, was a humble compilation of their favorite websites. Little did they anticipate the meteoric rise of their brainchild, which would soon be christened Yahoo, an acronym for Yet Another Hierarchical Officious Oracle. As Yahoo burgeoned exponentially over the following years, captivating audiences across the globe, Yang and Philo could scarcely fathom the unforeseen consequences that awaited. Far away in Nigeria during the early 2000s, a cohort of young individuals, disenchanted with life in their third-world homeland, sought refuge in the burgeoning realm of internet services. While Yang and Philo diligently refined Yahoo's user interface, their Nigerian counterparts, facing unemployment, discovered a darker avenue for their ambitions. Exploiting the novel features of Yahoo Messenger, these individuals engaged in elaborate romance scams, reaching across the globe to ensnare unsuspecting victims with promises of love, marriage, and a blissful future. These perpetrators, who struck gold, proudly adopted the nickname Yahoo Boys as a nod to the very platform that unwittingly facilitated their ill-gotten gains. Thus, the legacy of Yahoo took an unexpected turn, becoming an unwitting accomplice in a global web of deceit and fraud. As awareness spread among potential victims about the tactics employed in romance scams, internet fraudsters worldwide found themselves compelled to elevate their strategies. This shift gave rise to a plethora of scams, expanding beyond romance scams to include phishing, charity fraud, social media scams, credit card fraud, tax return fraud, carding, business email compromise, and more. This evolution spawned a new breed of Yahoo Boys, characterized by extravagant personalities and an unabashed display of wealth. These modern-day scammers, unbounded by caution or remorse, epitomize the adage that absolute power corrupts absolutely, or in their case, the pursuit of effortless wealth drove them to madness. Among the notable figures in this emerging generation was Ramon Abbas, who achieved social media infamy circa 2015. Known to his 2.8 million Instagram followers as Hushpuppi, or by aliases like Hushray and the billionaire Gucci Master, he embodied the audacious spirit of this era's cyber fraudulence. Hushpuppi's early days and career. Born on October 11, 1982 in Lagos, Ramon Abbas, famously known as Hushpuppi, emerged from a remarkably modest background that only intensified his unbridled desire for wealth and luxury. Raised in the Oworonshoki area of Lagos, Nigeria, Hushpuppi began his journey as a Yahoo boy, a term for individuals using Yahoo Messenger to scam unsuspecting clients, or magas, out of their hard-earned money. Before entering the world of cyber scams, Hushpuppi and his mother sold bread and other goods on the streets, while his father worked as a taxi driver. The transformation from a poor boy on Lagos streets to the opulent billionaire Gucci Master unfolded in the early 2000s, marked by the realization that Yahoo Messenger could be a lucrative tool for deceit. Mastering the art of using stolen identities, Hushpuppi adeptly executed sophisticated romance scams, extracting substantial sums from his unsuspecting victims. This newfound success earned him a reputation as a lavish spender in his impoverished neighborhood. In a BBC interview, a local driver, Sei, shared anecdotes of Hushpuppi's generosity, recalling how he used to generously treat everyone to beer during the early days of his Yahoo boy career. By 2014, a significant shift unfolded in the world of cyber fraud, leading Hushpuppi and numerous other Yahoo boys from Nigeria to migrate to Malaysia, marking a pivotal chapter in their illicit pursuits. While various reasons have been cited for this abrupt relocation, such as a nationwide crackdown on internet fraudsters by Nigerian law enforcement, the reality is that the move to Malaysia served as a rite of passage or coming-of-age moment for many Yahoo boys of that era. As awareness grew regarding the romance scam tactics employed by internet fraudsters, major dating websites implemented stringent security measures, restricting access from Nigeria and other African countries. While some settled for smaller, less secure dating platforms, Hushpuppi recognized that achieving the grandiose dreams he harbored required a bold move. This decision proved transformative for Hushpuppi, as Malaysia not only provided a more advanced internet infrastructure, but also served as a global hub for fraudsters. In the lax law enforcement environment of Malaysia, Hushpuppi flourished, forging connections within the cyber fraud community that propelled him to staggering wealth. At this juncture, there was no turning back for Ramon Abbas, and his story became one of audacious exploits and unparalleled affluence. Hushpuppi hit Instagram. Hushpuppi, the moniker under which Abbas showcased his opulence on Instagram, became a virtual stage for flaunting his wealth and sharing motivational messages about overcoming poverty through time and hard work. As his followers soared, he indulged in a conspicuous display of affluence, adorning himself in designer clothes, showcasing luxury watches and parading extravagant cars, all accompanied by hashtags for Gucci, Fendi, Versace, or Rolls-Royce. In his bio, he proudly proclaimed himself the billionaire Gucci master, and with each exhibition of his newfound riches, his followers multiplied rapidly. At its zenith, over 2.8 million people eagerly absorbed his posts featuring his custom purple Rolls-Royce, private jet escapades, and indulgent Fendi shopping sprees. Back in Nigeria, he transformed into a celebrity and reached the pinnacle of influencer status. Renowned designer brands, enamored by his influence, showered him with gifts, from trainers to an all-expenses-paid trip to the Ritz Paris, courtesy of Louis Vuitton. Fendi extended invitations for exclusive dinners with society's elite, while the Kuala Lumpur branch of Versace celebrated him and fellow Instagrammer Samson Oyokunle as their top customers, presenting them with lavish gifts. Abbas commemorated such moments with unabashed spending, often showcasing expenditures of $20,000 or more, creating a spectacle documented and shared with gusto on his Instagram. During this period, Hushpuppi forged a close bond with fellow influencer Ismaila Mustafa, famously known as Mamfa. Together, they showcased their wealth, parading designer outfits, and even found mention in the 2016 Nigerian hit song Living Things by Nice. The song paid tribute to the staggering affluence boasted by Hushpuppi and Mamfa. Yet, true to the influencer experience, Hushpuppi found himself entangled in online conflicts. A particularly notable one involved a staged fallout with musician Davido over an accusation that Abbas had evaded settling his bar tab in Lagos. Their apparent reconciliation in a Snapchat video, however, resulted in a surge in followers for both. Not all of Hushpuppi's spats concluded amicably. Some threatened to expose him. In one instance, he accused rapper Fino of donning fake watches, prompting singer Casey to challenge his credibility and question the origin of his wealth. Hushpuppi meticulously shared every facet of his life with his dedicated followers: trips, meals, shopping sprees. However, the enigma surrounding his extravagant lifestyle remained. When probed, he vaguely alluded to real estate investments, a narrative met with skepticism. As questions lingered about the source of his wealth, Hushpuppi adeptly avoided specifics, leaving followers intrigued. While romance scams might yield thousands or perhaps even six figures, Hushpuppi operated on a different scale, evidently amassing millions without unveiling the intricacies of his financial ventures. Business email compromise scam, BCs. Upon relocating from Nigeria to Malaysia for their illicit endeavors, Hushpuppi and his fellow Yahoo boys swiftly grasped the limitations of relying solely on romance scams. Early on, they discerned that these schemes yielded only a few $1,000s, and their success hinged on factors beyond their control. The generosity of potential victims dictated the payout, unrelated to the scammers' effort to build trust through false identities. Recognizing the volatility of this unreliable business model, especially in its susceptibility to external variables, such as the willingness of victims to pay, Abbas sought a more robust approach to secure substantial gains. Consequently, he and his associates shifted their focus from individual scams to orchestrating intricate online schemes known as business email compromise, BC schemes, targeting multi-million-dollar corporations. BCs, a highly lucrative avenue, constitute a significant portion of fraud-related losses, surpassing $2 billion annually and affecting numerous U.S. companies. This strategic move marked a departure from the unpredictable landscape of individual scams, positioning Hushpuppi and his cohorts to exploit the vulnerabilities of sizable enterprises for substantial financial gains. However, as per the information on the FBI website, business email compromise, BC, also known as email account compromise, EAC, stands out as one of the most financially destructive cybercrimes. Exploiting our heavy reliance on email for both personal and professional dealings, BEC poses a significant threat. What sets BEC apart is its orchestration by a collective of scammers, each specializing in different facets of the scheme. The sophistication level of these scams is alarming. Companies targeted by these scammers often remain blissfully unaware until they've suffered substantial financial losses. Despite the staggering billions lost annually, BECs are vastly underreported. The embarrassment stemming from security breaches prompts many affected companies to either silently bear the losses or conduct discreet investigations, avoiding public exposure to their compromised security. This discreet modus operandi allowed Hushpuppi and his criminal cohort to execute devastating BCs, inflicting multi-million-dollar losses on businesses without detection for an extended period. The question that naturally arises is, how do these criminals skillfully carry out BECs? A question that delves into the intricate web of cybercriminal tactics and the vulnerabilities they exploit in unsuspecting companies. How BEC work? As indicated by the FBI, the intricate landscape of business email compromise, BC scams, unfolds in a sequence of 4 distinct stages, revealing a sophisticated process employed by cybercriminals to steal funds. The initial phase revolves around the identification of a target, predominantly businesses domiciled in the United States or spanning across Europe. To delve into the intricacies, scammers meticulously collect pertinent information about the chosen company, scouring corporate websites and social media platforms such as LinkedIn. Transitioning into the second stage, the scam intensifies as hackers gain unauthorized access to an employee's email account. The motive behind this intrusion is not merely espionage, but a strategic move to clandestinely monitor the ebb and flow of information related to the company's financial transactions. The scammers, similar to silent observers, patiently bide their time within the victim's email accounts, remaining undetected for weeks until a pivotal moment transpires, the arrival of an innocuous invoice. With the emergence of this invoice, the scam swiftly advances to its third stage. Here, the perpetrators employ a technique known as email spoofing, wherein they manipulate email addresses to mimic either the genuine sender of the invoice or a high-ranking figure within the organization, such as the CEO. Employing specialized tools, the criminals craft a faux email address that bears subtle alterations from the legitimate ones, making detection an arduous task. For instance, the legitimate Jason_Kelly at targetcompany.com metamorphoses into the subtly altered Jason_Kelly at targetcompany.com, casting an illusion that can ensnare even the most vigilant. The stage is set for a gripping dance of deception in the murky realms of cybercrime. In a clever ruse, scammers employ a subtle variation in email addresses to deceive their targets, leading them to believe that messages are from a trusted figure, perhaps a high-ranking executive like the CEO. The elaborate scheme is orchestrated to divert payments intended for legitimate invoices. This intricate process involves the scammers deploying various tactics, such as sending targeted spear phishing emails to key personnel in the victim company's finance department. These deceptive emails often apologize for purported errors in previously provided account details and supply fresh fraudulent information. To heighten the illusion, scammers may even resort to impersonating phone calls, assuming the identity of the invoice sender to enhance their credibility and coerce the victim into altering the payment details. Once the unsuspecting victim complies and wires funds to the specified bank account controlled by the criminal syndicate, the scammers swiftly engage in money laundering. This entails dispersing the funds across multiple accounts, converting them into cryptocurrency, or splurging on extravagant luxury items. This intricate process renders the money virtually untraceable, shielding the perpetrators from legal consequences. When the genuine invoice sender realizes the absence of funds on the designated date, attempts to rectify the situation are futile. The victimized company officials find themselves embarrassed and powerless as the scammers evade accountability with a well-executed and untraceable financial maneuver. Some of the most significant frauds in recent years have revolved around business email compromise, BEC schemes, marking a surge in such activities leading up to Hushpuppi's widely publicized arrest in 2019. Notably, Japan's Toyota Boku, an automotive parts supplier, fell prey to a BC scam, resulting in a staggering $37 million loss. The perpetrators adeptly mimicked the company's corporate email, manipulating a finance executive into authorizing a wire transfer. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, criminals targeted St. Ambrose Catholic Parish in the U.S. through spear phishing emails, masquerading as service providers. The fraudsters absconded with $1.7 million by falsely asserting that the church had outstanding payments for services rendered over several months. Shockingly, another audacious BC scam targeted Save the Children, a nonprofit organization for children. In 2018, criminals, having gained access to an employee's email account, orchestrated a $1 million heist by sending deceptive invoices and documents related to an Asia-based project. The extent of these BEC scams has gained public attention, shedding light on the alarming rise in such deceitful activities. During his tenure as a prominent cybercriminal, Hushpuppi was notably involved in high-profile BC crimes that posed serious threats to numerous companies, showcasing the magnitude and audacity of these schemes. In a noteworthy 2019 incident, a New York-based law firm found itself on the brink of transferring $922,000 to a recently refinanced property client. Unbeknownst to the firm, Hushpuppi and his cadre of internet fraudsters had been meticulously observing their operations. Seizing the opportune moment, when a paralegal from the law firm contacted the client to ascertain payment details, the criminal group sprang into action. Swiftly, they dispatched a fax containing deceptive wire transfer instructions to divert the funds into a different account. Demonstrating due diligence, the paralegal initiated a call to the number on the fax to authenticate the new instructions. Astonishingly, the call was answered, and the fraudster provided exceptionally confidential details, convincingly prompting the paralegal to redirect the funds. Abruptly, the substantial sum of $922,000 vanished into thin air. The paralegal, diligently trying to fulfill her responsibilities, could hardly have anticipated the scam. Hushpuppi had conducted extensive research on both the law firm and the client, enabling the fraudster to furnish highly confidential information during the call. While the company grappled with the realization of the scam, Hushpuppi, true to his modus operandi, had already embarked on another lavish spending spree, flaunting receipts on his Instagram page. The incident underscored the meticulous planning and audacity characteristic of Hushpuppi's cybercriminal pursuits. Money laundering and Hushpuppi's network. On social media, Hushpuppi provided a vague explanation for his income, asserting involvement in real estate investment. However, a conspicuous absence of posts showcasing him at work or making any visible effort to support this claim raised suspicions. While some followers may have naively accepted this blatant lie, the Yahoo boys in Nigeria, considering him a role model, were well aware that he was just one of them. Despite recognizing him as a kindred spirit, they remained oblivious to the extent of his involvement in the internet fraud community. By 2019, Hushpuppi had ascended to a prominent position among the most successful business email compromise (BC) scammers, operating within a syndicate responsible for colossal online heists. Such intricate crimes demand a collaborative effort, involving individuals specializing in setting up false bank accounts, creating deceptive websites, gaining access to email accounts, and laundering the ill-gotten gains. Additionally, the operation requires unwitting money mules, often ensnared through romance scams, to establish laundering accounts. During Hushpuppi's trial, an FBI sworn statement, presented at the California District Court, detailed how he and Galeb Aluamari conspired to launder funds intended for theft through fraudulent wire transfers from a foreign financial institution. This revelation underscored the complexity and scale of Hushpuppi's involvement in organized cybercrime. Abbas, a highly successful business email compromise scammer, boasted an extensive network, including a Canadian money launderer named Galeb Aluamari. Aluamari's primary responsibility involved transferring funds into Abbas's account and collaborating on some of their most significant scams. In February 2019, their most notable exploit targeted the Bank of Valletta in Malta, where, communicating through Snapchat and Abbas's Hushpuppi 5 account, they endeavored to orchestrate the distribution of 13 million euros. This audacious scam unfolded after hackers breached the French stock exchange regulator Autorite des Marchés Financiers. Posing as regulators, they executed phishing emails to the Maltese bank. When an employee fell victim, the team gained access to the bank's secure payment system, funneling millions of euros in undetected payments. Abbas played a pivotal role by providing bank accounts capable of receiving sizable deposits without triggering alarms, swiftly laundering the funds before potential recalls. Despite their elaborate plan, Abbas and his accomplices couldn't move the millions swiftly enough. The bank managed to recover a substantial portion of the missing funds. When news of the incident surfaced, Aluamari shared the development with Abbas, who nonchalantly replied with a simple, "Damn." Unfazed, Aluamari indicated that the next scheme would be ready in a few weeks. Although thwarted, Abbas remained undeterred, taking to Instagram the next day to flaunt his opulence, posing in Fendi attire and leaning against a $160,000 sports car. His caption? "Bought myself a new Bentley Bentayga for Valentine's, the best way to celebrate the season of love." Another scam involving a super cop. In the coming months, Hushpuppi and Aluamari collaboratively embarked on a series of devious business email compromise. BC schemes, their nefarious activities escalating with audacious attempts, one notably aimed at pilfering a staggering $24 million from an English Premier League club. The cyber heist unfolded intricately until its unraveling, a twist of fate triggered by the refusal of UK banks to transfer the funds into the Mexican account orchestrated by Hushpuppi. Had Hushpuppi and Aluamari interpreted these initial setbacks as ominous forewarnings, they might have exercised caution. However, driven by an insatiable craving for wealth, the duo persisted, their criminal enterprise expanding. Hushpuppi, undeterred by past failures, adopted a bolder stance in his subsequent fraudulent endeavor. Revisiting his roots as a Yahoo boy specializing in romance scams, Hushpuppi assumed the guise of a New York banker. This time, his target was a Qatari businessman seeking a $15 million loan to establish a new school in the Gulf state. In a devious alliance with a Kenyan entrepreneur named Juma, Hushpuppi orchestrated a scam that ultimately fleeced the unsuspecting victim of $1.1 million. The victim, desperate and seeking financial advice, fell prey to Juma's elaborate scheme. This marked the culmination of Hushpuppi's criminal exploits, leading to his arrest in June 2020. The saga unfolded as a cautionary tale of greed, deception, and the intricate web woven by cybercriminals. Operating under the shroud of fabricated identities, Hushpuppi and Juma skillfully manipulated the businessman, assuring him that they could secure the coveted loan for him. The fee for their services, however, proved elusive. constantly shifting whenever the victim voiced concerns about the loan's non-materialization. Exploiting his desperation, Hushpuppi and Juma fabricated excuses, consistently demanding more money from December 2019 to February 2020. During this period, in collaboration with their associates from Nigeria and the US, the duplicitous duo successfully conned the victim out of over $1 million. As the victim's patience waned, Hushpuppi and Juma devised a final ploy to extract a substantial lump sum. They enlisted the services of Nigerian Vincent Chibuzo to craft a counterfeit Wells Fargo website, complete with an automated hotline. Upon calling the hotline, the businessman was falsely assured that the $15 million had been deposited into his account. However, his elation turned to despair when informed of a purported $575,000 withholding tax before accessing the funds. Amid the ensuing negotiations, Chibuzo, privy to the substantial sum demanded from the victim, sought additional compensation for his efforts. Unyielding, Hushpuppi refused extra payment, prompting Chibuzo to betray the scam, reaching out to the victim and exposing the intricate web of deceit. As the narrative unfolds, it takes a disturbing turn that sent shockwaves through many when it hit the headlines following Hushpuppi's arrest. Fueled by Chibuzo's betrayal of their elaborate scheme, Hushpuppi took an unsettling step, reporting the matter to none other than his acquaintance in the Nigerian police force, Abba Kyari. Now, it might seem utterly bizarre for a fraudster to reach out to a police officer, but the intriguing aspect of this juncture in Hushpuppi's story lies in the fact that Kyari wasn't just any ordinary police officer. He held the distinguished rank of Deputy Police Commissioner, earning the nickname Superco due to his remarkable achievements and serving as a beacon of excellence in a much-criticized police force. Details emerging from Hushpuppi's communication with Kyari unveiled a darker side to the decorated officer. In a text message, the internet fraudster expressed his desire for Chibuzo to endure severe beatings, and in a subsequent message, he conveyed his intent to ensure Chibuzo faced a lengthy prison sentence. Astonishingly, Kyari swiftly acquiesced to Hushpuppi's requests, providing details for a Nigerian bank account where Hushpuppi transferred money. With the funds transferred, Kyari orchestrated the false arrest of Chibuzo, sending staged images of the middleman behind bars to Hushpuppi. Unbeknownst to them, this marked the inception of their downfall, as the FBI had quietly commenced an investigation, poised to expose their malevolent deeds to the world. The convergence of law enforcement, betrayal, and cybercrime formed a gripping tale that would soon captivate global attention. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick: how the FBI solved the $1.6 billion Instagram scam. In the world of the internet, where things happen with just a click, the FBI had a big challenge. There was this person called Hushpuppi who tricked people on Instagram and made off with $1.6 billion. Special Agent Miller, who's really good at solving online crimes, decided to catch this cyber thief. Hushpuppi liked showing off his stolen riches on Instagram, and that's where Agent Miller started. He followed the digital clues like footprints in the sand, trying to figure out how this scam worked. Hushpuppi thought he was untouchable, but Agent Miller and his team were on the case. As they dug deeper, Miller found a secret group of hackers helping Hushpuppi. These hackers thought they were invisible, but Miller knew better. He cracked their coded messages and found out how they were pulling off the scam. The big breakthrough happened when Miller discovered a weakness in Hushpuppi's plan, a hole in the way he hid his tracks. With this new knowledge, the FBI set a trap for Hushpuppi. In a big showdown, the FBI took control of Hushpuppi's online world. The scam fell apart, and instead of flashy pictures, Hushpuppi got handcuffs. The $1.6 billion scam was over, and Hushpuppi had to face the consequences. News of the FBI's success spread, showing that even in the vast online world, justice could catch up with the bad guys. Agent Miller, with his sharp skills, had cracked the case and put an end to the Instagram scam. Let us know your thoughts on this saga in the comments below. Hushpuppi's arrest. Inadvertently, Ramon Abbas handed the FBI a treasure trove of evidence, paving the way for his arrest. The unfolding drama was all chronicled on his cherished Instagram and various social media platforms. Branded as the billionaire Gucci master on Snapchat, Ramon was no stranger to flaunting his opulent lifestyle, sparing no detail. On one fateful birthday, fueled by excitement, he shared his extravagant day with the world. From relishing sushi at Nobu in Monte Carlo, to splurging on a helicopter ride for facials at the Christian Dior spa in Paris, and capping it off with champagne and Gucci indulgence, every lavish detail was meticulously documented. Tagging his posts with #allmine, Ramon proudly showcased an array of luxury cars: Bentleys, Mercedes, Ferraris, and Rolls-Royce. However, amidst the glamour and excess, he unknowingly spilled crucial information. Displayed prominently were his email and phone number on Instagram. The eagle-eyed FBI agents seized this opportunity, delving into financial transactions linked to his co-conspirators. The email account in particular unraveled a web of wire transfers and substantial dollar amounts. A telling detail emerged from a birthday cake snapshot featuring a Fendi logo, and investigators cross-verified his date of birth from a previous U.S. visa application. The intricate web of evidence started with a seemingly innocuous Instagram post, leading the FBI down a path to uncover the reality behind the flamboyant facade. On July 2, 2020, the FBI orchestrated a strategic move, culminating in the apprehension of Mr. Ramon Hushpuppi Abbas. The wheels of justice were set in motion with the assistance of our counterparts in the United Arab Emirates, who swiftly descended upon his opulent Dubai abode, effecting his immediate capture. Subsequently, Hushpuppi was extradited to the United States, where he now finds himself securely confined within the Metropolitan Corrections Center in Chicago. In the aftermath of his arrest, the FBI, armed with legal authority, seized a staggering array of assets, including a hefty $400 million in cash, a fleet of 13 luxury cars valued at $7 million, 47 smartphones, 21 laptops, and a treasure trove of email addresses belonging to 2 million potential victims. The Dubai authorities, not content with a mere arrest, heightened the drama by releasing a riveting film of the operation, aptly named Operation Fox Hunt 2. This cinematic portrayal of the arrest set social media ablaze, capturing the attention of the global audience. In a swift turn of events, less than 48 hours later, Hushpuppi was airborne en route to Chicago, where he would face trial for a series of cybercrimes totaling over $24 million. Following his admission of guilt, Abbas was handed a stern sentence, serving over 11 years in prison. The final chapter of this high-profile case unfolded on November 8, 2022, marking the culmination of a complex legal saga that exposed the extent of cybercrime on a grand scale. #EndSARS. While Hushpuppi's arrest and subsequent sentencing marked the culmination of his illicit activities, the aftermath of the FBI's investigations unearthed disconcerting revelations, once again shedding light on the involvement of Nigerian law enforcement in the battle against cybercrime. Hushpuppi's interactions with Abba Kyari laid bare the pervasive influence that successful cybercriminals held over law enforcement agencies in Nigeria. Despite the outward facade of these agencies projecting a commitment to eradicating cybercrime behind closed doors, they were, in fact, complicit tools at the disposal of these criminal masterminds, carrying out a myriad of nefarious acts for a fee. Entities like the EFCC and, notably, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS have transformed the fight against internet fraudsters into a lucrative enterprise. Those without direct access to high-profile Yahoo boys resorted to hitting the streets, engaging in a catch-and-release mission where they arbitrarily apprehended young boys and coerced them into parting with significant sums through threats and blackmail. The notoriety of SARS operatives spared no young Nigerians, as many found themselves targeted and harassed simply for possessing a smartphone or laptop. On numerous occasions, the heavy-handed tactics employed by SARS operatives escalated to torture, all in a ruthless pursuit to extort money from their victims. This disturbing revelation painted a bleak picture of law enforcement agencies turning a blind eye to justice and instead engaging in exploitative practices, contributing to the perpetuation of cybercrime in Nigeria. In 2020, the simmering discontent in Nigeria reached a boiling point when the country was swept by extensive protests led by its youth, vehemently standing against police brutality. These protests, which paralyzed the nation for weeks, gained global attention with the hashtag #EndSARS trending for an extended period. While the SARS was eventually disbanded, the protests exacted a heavy toll, claiming numerous lives and intensifying the prevailing distrust the youth harbored toward the political class. Dr. Adedeji Oyenuga, a cybercrime expert at Lagos State University, delved into the continued influence of Hushpuppi among a segment of Nigerian youth in a revealing interview. In a nation grappling with widespread suffering, where many young individuals witness their peers transform from humble beginnings to extraordinary success, Hushpuppi's ascent holds a particular allure. Dr. Oyenuga shared insights into a disconcerting reality where some parents have even steered their children toward learning the trade of online fraud. In a society characterized by a glaring disparity between the political elite and the general populace, a significant number of African youths, particularly in Nigeria, perceive cybercrime as a viable means to escape the shackles of crippling poverty and unemployment. Within this context, Hushpuppi remains a revered figure, a hero to many aspiring Yahoo boys who view his trajectory as a beacon of hope, regardless of the challenges they face in their own lives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.